The secret moments that made King Frederik and Queen Mary Denmark's power couple. Welcome to B News. In the world of royalty, love stories often unfold behind palace walls, guarded by tradition, surrounded by spectacle, and steeped in centuries of protocol. But once in a while, a story emerges that feels different. A story that crosses borders, defies societal norms, and captures the imagination of millions around the globe. The love story of King Frederik and Queen Mary of Denmark is one such tale, filled not only with public appearances and regal duties but also with powerful, secret moments that shaped them into the power couple the world admires today. Behind the pomp and pageantry lies a deep, intimate journey of love, resilience, and unity that many don't get to see. Today, we take you behind the curtain to uncover the secret, defining moments that transformed their bond into a royal force, and why they remain Denmark's most admired couple. Their story begins far from the palaces of Copenhagen, in the bustling heart of Sydney, Australia, during the 2000 Olympic Games. It was a moment that neither of them could have predicted, yet it would change the course of royal history. When Frederik, the Danish crown prince at the time, walked into the now famous Slip-In pub, he wasn't expecting to meet the love of his life. Mary Donaldson, a marketing executive with a modest and private life, was enjoying a casual evening with friends. What followed was not a fairy tale orchestrated by royal advisors, it was an organic, human connection, sparked over beer, laughter, and conversation. This unplanned meeting laid the groundwork for something truly extraordinary. But what truly makes their encounter so significant is the choice they made afterward. For Mary, the decision to pursue a relationship with a royal, one that came with intense scrutiny, cultural adaptation, and a complete life transformation, was not taken lightly. And for Frederik, choosing love over royal convenience meant he would have to battle centuries of tradition, and even skepticism from within his own court. Yet, it was in this early, quiet period of their relationship where some of their most defining moments occurred: phone calls across continents, secret rendezvous in Europe, and long letters filled with honesty and vulnerability. These were the moments where their connection deepened far from the limelight. One of the most compelling secret phases in their love story came during their transcontinental relationship. At the time, Mary was still living and working in Australia, while Frederik continued his royal duties in Denmark. The Atlantic Ocean stood between them, not just physically, but symbolically, representing cultural differences, public expectations, and personal doubts. But instead of growing apart, they grew stronger. They relied on private video chats, handwritten letters, and low-profile trips that allowed them to maintain a sense of normalcy in an increasingly abnormal situation. These moments, shielded from the press, were instrumental in forging their trust, which would later become the bedrock of their public lives as Denmark's royal couple. Even after their relationship became known to the Danish public, Mary's transition into royal life was not without immense pressure. Learning Danish, understanding centuries-old traditions, and finding her place in an institution that had never welcomed a non-European commoner into its highest ranks was no easy feat, but in private, Mary and Frederik made it work through patience, shared values, and constant communication. One of the pivotal secret moments was when Mary spent time in seclusion, studying Danish history and customs, an act not demanded of her, but something she undertook with determination. Frederik's emotional support during this time, often offering her encouragement away from cameras, showcased the nurturing, private side of their relationship. Their engagement in 2003 marked the beginning of a more public chapter, but it came with secret understandings that made their bond even stronger. Behind the public announcement, there were private promises to always respect each other's identities, to stay grounded in their love no matter the pressure, and to raise a family rooted in both Danish and Australian values. While the world saw a beaming couple on stage, the true magic was in the quiet moment afterward, when Frederik whispered a heartfelt, unscripted vow to Mary in private, one she later described as the moment I knew I could do this with him. Marriage brought its own share of challenges and joys. But perhaps what the public didn't see was how Frederik and Mary established their own rhythm behind palace doors. Early on, they made a pact to reserve time for just the two of them, no staff, no advisors, no royal obligations. These sacred weekends, as palace insiders would later call them, were spent hiking, cooking together, or enjoying quiet moments at their summer residence. It was during these times that they nurtured their emotional intimacy, something rare in the high-pressure world of royalty. Becoming parents further solidified their connection. When Crown Prince Christian was born in 2005, it marked a new chapter, but not just as monarchs in waiting, rather as parents navigating parenthood together. Few know that Mary had a challenging birth, and during that time, Frederik refused to leave her side, spending the night in a hospital chair, holding her hand, and ensuring she felt safe. These deeply private acts of devotion, are what truly define a power couple, far beyond the titles and tiaras. Another lesser-known yet significant moment occurred when Mary lost her mother in 1997, just 3 years before she met Frederik. Though they hadn't yet met, Mary carried this grief into her relationship. When she finally shared the depth of that loss with Frederik, he reportedly took it upon himself to honor her mother's memory in subtle, thoughtful ways, laying flowers on her grave during their first visit to Tasmania together and integrating her memory into their family traditions. It was an act of empathy that went beyond royal protocol and spoke to the kind of emotional intelligence that bonded them. Their partnership also deepened through shared causes. While many royal couples support charitable work, Mary and Frederik aligned in their belief that royals should be hands-on. One deeply personal project was Mary's dedication to combating domestic violence and promoting women's rights in Denmark, causes she took on after confidential conversations with Frederik, who encouraged her to find a voice of her own in the monarchy. These private discussions often took place during their late-night walks, away from palace walls, where they envisioned a more modern and compassionate royal image. During international crises and national tragedies, their unified front has often been admired. But few know about the emotional toll these events take on royal figures. After the 2004 tsunami, Frederik and Mary visited survivors in Thailand, where they shared private conversations with affected families. That trip, which Mary later described as the moment I truly felt like a royal, was emotionally overwhelming, and it was Frederik's quiet strength, his way of comforting her in private, that allowed them both to grow into their roles as not just figureheads, but as empathetic leaders. As their family expanded with the births of Princess Isabella and the twins, Vincent and Josephine, they continued to protect their inner sanctum. One family tradition that remains secret but is cherished involves writing anonymous notes to each other, hidden in lunchboxes and under pillows, a tradition that began in their early dating years and has continued even in their life as parents. These little acts of affection, unseen by the world, are what make their relationship more than symbolic. It makes it real, relatable, and human. Their rise as a power couple didn't happen by chance. It was built, moment by moment, through deliberate choices, many of which the world never saw. Their ability to remain grounded, emotionally connected, and genuinely in love, even under the pressure of royal life, is what elevates their story above the rest. They've not only upheld the traditions of the Danish crown but have modernized it through authenticity, compassion, and partnership. Each decision, each secret moment, has been a building block in the architecture of their royal life. Even after Frederik ascended the throne as king in 2024, and Mary became queen, their dynamic didn't shift into formality. Palace staff have noted that the couple continues to enjoy private dinners without security present, where they speak openly and laugh together, just as they did 20 years ago at the Slip-In. Their emotional chemistry has only strengthened with time, and the public sees the result in their calm leadership and united vision for Denmark's future. The way they support each other in public, always exchanging knowing glances, subtle touches, or encouraging smiles, speaks volumes of a relationship deeply rooted in mutual respect. But what's even more powerful is the unseen, the way they hold each other accountable in private, their unfiltered conversations, and their commitment to constant growth. These secret dynamics are the true reasons why they remain not only monarchs but enduring symbols of unity. Ultimately, what makes King Frederik and Queen Mary Denmark's power couple isn't just their titles or their poise under pressure. It's the secret moments, the quiet reassurances, the shared struggles, the private jokes, and the invisible threads of loyalty and love that bind them. They've redefined what it means to rule, showing the world that true power comes not from crowns, but from connection. So, as we celebrate this royal couple, we must ask. In a world obsessed with spectacle, do we sometimes forget that the most powerful stories are built in silence, away from the spotlight? What secret moments will define the next chapter of their reign, and are we, perhaps, witnessing a royal legacy not of tradition, but of transformation?